Good morning. I thank you for joining me again today as I actually continue in the theme for the past few days. The title that I've given this morning is 2012, To Heal Our Wounds. Forgiveness is not an option. A good deal of discussion was triggered by the videos of the past couple days that I hope to clarify as best I can. Let me say plainly that forgiveness is not about giving wrongdoers a blank check to overrun everyone else's rights. Let me also say that love is not about saying yes to everyone either. In fact, it requires many no's if we are to honor ourselves. Remember, we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. However, this whole thing is about the nature of our hearts. If we delight in punishment and seek annihilation of others, there is something amiss in our attitude. Our wounds cannot be healed that way. Having an attitude of forgiveness is not an option if we are to purify our hearts and come from a place of love in all things. Someone in a comment, Charlie, actually sent me a beautiful picture of a crescent moon and over the top of I don't know if it's a sun or a star, both of them are stars, of course. But it's a quotation from someone named Moonsinger that was copyrighted in 2000. I can't quite read the small print there, and I'm not even going to try. But the little mural or thing is this: forgiveness is not forgetting an injustice done. It is the understanding that allows us to set aside the emotional impact of that injustice pertaining to ourselves. When we no longer hold those emotions and have understanding for the person, we have forgiven them. I am convinced in my heart that almost everyone truly does what they feel is best for themselves. And that isn't always a bad thing, because we all do what we feel is best for ourselves, even if it's said to be on higher moral ground than what other people do for themselves. But if there's anything that I've learned in the workshops, it's the importance of boundaries, the importance of saying no, the importance of honoring our own self. We cannot, I'm convinced, we cannot fully love if we don't fully love ourselves. And that requires letting people know when we hurt. You hurt me. Ouch. I can't accept that. Ouch. And people are so concerned with justice these days, and rightly so. Rightly so. We are concerned because we see the injustices that for years and decades and centuries and even millennia we were ignorant to. But we're not ignorant to it anymore. We realize that those that have risen to the top of leadership, so-called, in our world, have not been the best quality of people as far as an ethical standard of treating others as they would like to be treated. In fact, it's been bred into some of this elite establishment the exact opposite. It's all about mistreatment. It's all about exerting domination over others. And that is done through making pain, creating pain, and doing things to others that hurt. And the wounding has been intentional in many of these cases. It is it is a cultural thing that's passed from generation to generation. And my friend that wrote to me was so against Zionism. If you understood Zionism, Zionism is an absolute evil on the planet, an absolute evil. Does that mean that the people that have been drawn in to the Zionist persuasion of doing the exact opposite of what is right on purpose, does that mean that these people don't have souls and are not to be forgiven? That they are not created from the same fabric of creation that everyone else is? That there's two fabrics of creation? Give me a break. That is not even logical. That there are this dualism thing of creating warfare and constant embattlement is insane. It is absolutely insane. The golden rule transcends all religions because all religions have their own wording for the same principle. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat people as you'd like to be treated. Do as you will, but hurt no one. My rights end where yours begin. I have a right to express myself, to be me. I have a right to see through my eyes and to feel through my feelings. I have a right. But I don't have a right to impose that on someone else. Now, what about the people that abuse the rights of others? If you've been listening for any period of time, you know I believe in justice, but you also know, you've heard me say numerous times, that justice must be linked with mercy. God in the Bible, because that's what I'm familiar with, God says, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked or the death of him that dies. Turn from your evil ways. Turn from your wicked ways. For why will you die, O house of Israel, O prince of God, which is what Israel means, according to what I was taught when I was younger. Prince of God, princess of God. Why will you squander your birthright and squander your life trying to seek vengeance? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. And yet God is not a God of vengeance, but a God of mercy. That's troublesome to many people, because all they see is they want the wicked punished. And justice has to be done. We have to stop the wicked. We have to stop them from exerting control over other people. And the entire matrix that we've created is a control matrix. And it's not going to improve us on a spiritual or evolutionary level if all we do is we get rid of the evildoers and we haven't purified our own hearts. Because if our hearts still harbor all of that resentment and all of that pain and all of that crying for vengeance, we're going to create the same situation all over again. We will become the abusers. Don't you see? Don't you understand that this whole thing of what we see out there is a drama to get us to see inside, to see the poison that's in our own beings, in our own minds, that we have embraced, and we identify with it, and we say, I am one of the good guys, and I need to destroy the bad people. You don't see that the bad people are representative of parts of you. That's what shadow work is all about. It's not an option to harbor unforgiveness and cleanse your heart. You cannot purify your heart, your soul, your mind. You cannot be renewed and restored if you're going to carry the attitude of unforgiveness. That's why I so dislike Anonymous. We don't forget, we don't forgive. That is poison. That is poison to the soul. That is poison to the heart. It is poison to the mind. It is poison to life itself. Forgiveness means giving someone love because you understand that it's in you too, and you're giving it to you. It's something that you give to others so that you can have peace and stop carrying the need to inflict the pain that you feel on others. To stop that madness, that insanity. It's about healing your heart. And forgiveness is showing compassion to those that have wounded, but not letting them go on wounding. But we have to stop the wounding of ourselves. And what we see in others and what we project on others as this is the remedy. They've got to be destroyed. We are revealing our own lack of understanding, our own lack of wisdom. We are revealing our own inability to love ourselves because we still think that the other person is separate from us. That is such a lie. Such a lie that can be scientifically proven through physics. You don't even need spirituality or mysticism. That's modern physics, for God's sake. And that's what I've been trying to help you understand as I try to wrestle with these things in my own life. I don't let the lawyers and the attorneys and the bankers run roughshod over me. I stand up for myself and I say no. And I will continue till they stop. And if I have to, I will bring lawsuits against them. I don't want to go that route, but they deserve it because that's how they've lived. They have totally felt it was okay to create laws and rules for themselves that allow them to get away with murder and theft and all sorts of deceptions. But it's not okay. This is a poison that's in our culture. And don't you understand that you are part of the culture? You're not separate from it. It's not something that's happening outside of you. It's happening in you. And it's all about attitude. It's all about embracing the whole thing so that you can be whole. So that you can be healed, which is what wholeness is all about. Made whole. You can't leave out the shadow or the dark elements because they are part of the human experience, part of our history, part of her story as well as his story. They are part of our human drama. What are we going to take home? What are we going to learn from the drama that has been being played out in our lives? When are we going to open our eyes and recognize that the only way home, there is no other way home. There's only one way. It's the way of the heart. And that's love. That's compassion. That's forgiveness. That's grace. But again, it's not about taking down your boundaries and letting people walk on you. That's not what I'm trying to say. That's not what the mystics and the physicists in the modern world are saying. They're saying recognize that what is in one is in all. That's what we're saying. It's in all of us to be wise. But what is wise? It's seeing the bigger picture. And as long as you're holding on to an attitude of wanting to punish people and wanting to wipe them out, you're revealing the poverty of your own heart and spirit. And that is not who you are. That is not your nature. You are a wonderful, loving being created by a God who gave us free will to experience and to experiment with all aspects of possibility. Unlimited possibility. Possibility for good and evil. Possibility to get it right and to get it wrong. Are we going to develop wisdom or aren't we? Are we going to embrace ourselves as microcosms of the macrocosm or aren't we? Are we going to see that we are infinite and eternal and that all of our dreams, all of our aspirations are within us, but they're within everyone else too? Are we going to be able to see this? Or are we going to continue the insanity and the nonsense of thinking that the way out is by destroying something? No, it's by transforming it, not destroying it, not annihilating it. No one is worthy of annihilation. That is not a correct image of the God as we are being revealed, God in our generation. Deity is love. God is love. And it transcends all of the religious bickering and all of the political backbiting and games and all of, I mean, it's such insanity. Folks, please understand and wake up that the poison is in us. And the way to release it is to forgive ourselves first. First, to forgive ourselves. And once we've done the work and we've come to a place where we can forgive ourselves and not beat ourselves up for not being good enough and for not getting it right, once we get to that place, then we are able to give what we've given to ourselves to others. But if we don't give it to ourselves first, we don't have it to give to others, except even when we don't know that we have it in ourselves. I've watched in workshops where people are empathic and feel sorry for and can relate to others' pain and say, oh, but you're beautiful. Oh, but you're a wonderful person. But they don't see that in themselves yet. But they're able to see it in others, which means it is in them to see it in themselves. Because we can't perceive in someone else what isn't in us. We can't perceive it. We have no point of reference. I want so much with all of my heart for mankind, all of my brothers and sisters to come home. Will all of them come at this point in time? I don't know. I don't know what it would take to make some of the people that do such terrible things to others and do it from positions of responsibility and leadership. I don't know what it would take to get them to wake up. But I want them to, with all of my heart. I want everybody to wake up. I want every man and woman, child on this planet to be able to celebrate liberation and freedom. But it has to be done through the heart of each person. And it's not done by a process of elimination. It's done by a process of integration and forgiveness. That is compassion with passion. I love you. And I hope that those of you that don't get it yet will open your heart just a little bit so that you can get it. If I could help it open, I would. But it's something you have to be willing to do for yourself. Anyway, my intention was to clear up some of the confusion. And I hope I've gone a little ways at least in doing that. And once again, as always, as I said at the beginning, thank you for letting me share a little bit of your time. Namaste.